Let's talk about the 2019 recruiting class, ladies and gentlemen. It is turning out to be one for the ages. We saw a few guys get a nice bump in rankings. We're still working on the 24/7 composite rankings from a couple days ago. 24/7 released their their individual rankings. The composite, it's all of the 4 or 5 services combined. 24/7's individual rankings and a couple really nice bumps that I'm going to talk about here in a minute. Let's talk about number 1, the star of the class, defensive end, Chris Hinton. He is a play-up, baby. He is going to be a force to be disrupted with for a long time for the University of Michigan. Number 22 player in the country. His brother, a 5-star offensive lineman in the 2020 class out of the state of Georgia. I think you're going to see a theme here. How many of these guys are big-time players out of the state of Michigan? And I am really excited to see Chris Hinton, what he can do at the University of Michigan. As I said, a 5-star out of the state of Georgia would be the second 5-star Michigan's got out of Georgia in the last 3 recruiting classes. Of course, with Aubrey Solomon in the 2017 class, started by the end of his true freshman year. Number 22 player overall, and he is just a beast of a man, ladies and gentlemen. He is going to be the next Rashawn Gary for Michigan. Now, I have heard a lot of rumors out there. People ask me questions. Is Alabama going to steal him? Is he going to go somewhere else? He's been committed for a long time. Him and his brother wear Michigan stuff all the time on social media. Anytime I tag him in a tweet about being firm to Michigan, he'll always give it a like or a retweet. So I think Hinton is the star of this class. He is going to fill in where Rashawn Gary is leaving out. Keep an eye out for him as being a future All-American. Number 2, Stephen Herron Jr. A lot of rumors he might go to Stanford. It sounds like he is as firm as it gets, but his stock has come down a little bit. Out of the state of Kentucky, been committed to Michigan for almost a year now. Last July, he is a physical specimen. I think sometimes people have questioned maybe his work ethic, his motor, where he keeps it going all the time. Out of the state of Kentucky, Michigan's top 2 players you see coming out of SEC country. Good thing to see for Jim Harbaugh. Number 37 player nationally in the composite, though. He did take a drop in the 24/7 individual rankings of their own guys, so his composite will likely come down next time that's re-ranked here in the next few days. But Stephen Herron Jr. is a big-time player. He is one that I think will not redshirt for sure, will come in and make an instant impact at the University of Michigan. All right, next up, Mazi Smith. I really like this guy. I've been telling you for a few weeks. I've had a couple sources on him that he was coming to Michigan, was a Notre Dame lean for a long time, and the Michigan defensive staff, really, most notably defensive line coach Greg Masson, tightened the screws, sold him on coming to the University of Michigan. Now, his teammate in high school, Logan Brown, is a top 10 player in the country, 5-star offensive lineman, headed up north to go to Wisconsin, has not had that many nice things to say about the University of Michigan, but Mazi Smith is a big-time player. This is 3 defensive linemen, folks, in the top 122 players in the country coming to the University of Michigan. Keep an eye out for him in the future. Going to have a great senior season. I can't wait to watch him in the maize and blue. Next up, Nolan Rumler, offensive guard, top 150 player in the country. He is going to be a road grader. Defensive line, offensive line is the theme of this class, as you're going to start to see it evolve. Top 150s, we see 135 in the 24/7 Sports composite rankings. I can't wait to see Rumler in this class. Guard has been a real trouble spot. Offensive line in general has been a trouble spot for Michigan over the last decade. He is a Big 12 type player. Stole him out of Ohio. Ohio State didn't show him as much love, but other schools in the Big 10, other schools around the country did. He chose the University of Michigan. Grew up an Ohio State fan, people have said, but when Michigan came calling, Ohio State waited on him, committed to Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan football coaching staff. Next guy on the list, Eric Gray, the number 1 all-purpose back in the country. Kind of reminds me maybe of a rich man's Chris Evans. A little more size, a little more elusiveness than Evans. Put some videos out there on the internet of him recently making people look like a fool with his juking moves. Went to the opening finals here in Dallas, where Chat Sports Studios is located. Talked about why Michigan was chosen as a school. Just basically said they showed the love. He liked the offense, liked everything he saw about the University of Michigan. Just committed July 1st. Is a big-time commit. Was down to Michigan and some other schools in the South. Really like to see what this guy got. Folks, Michigan has 2 huge running backs coming into this class. I'm going to talk about another one here coming up just a moment, but let's talk about the quarterback, the guy they stole from Notre Dame, Cade McNamara, out of Northern Nevada, Reno, Nevada, top 250 player in the country. Now, he was at the Elite Finals, really played well in Dallas a couple weeks ago. From what I was told, the one knock on him is he is a very accurate thrower, but had one of the weaker arms of the dozen or so quarterbacks they had coming from that Elite 11. to the opening in Dallas. Accurate passer, not a strong arm. He is not a guy you're going to see heave it 50 yards downfield or making that sideline to sideline throw on the rope. I think he's going to be more of a system quarterback for Michigan. I don't think he has as much pro potential as some of the other guys on Michigan's roster now, but Cade McNamara is really the star offensive player of this class when you think about building a class around a guy out of Nevada, West Coast recruit. Really like what he brings to the table. I think he's going to be a winner for Michigan. He's going to be a multi-year starter, and we'll see what he has. So want to ask you guys, new format this week, equal YouTube and Facebook Live. Just use the number 1 or number 2. Are you happy with Michigan football recruiting right now? Give me a 1 for yes. Give me a 2 for no. Let me know what you think of how you think Michigan is doing in recruiting right now. 1 if you're happy, 2 if you are not happy, right there in the comment section, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Go ahead and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. Head over to YouTube app as we speak. Next up on the list, Trente Jones. It's my boy. We've been DMing the last 24 hours, so Trente, thanks for messaging me. We talked about a few things. He is a player still underrated a little bit. I think by the time his senior footage comes in, Trente Jones is going to be a top 100, 150 player, future all Big Ten player for sure, maybe even a future All-American offensive tackle, number 294 overall out of the state of Georgia again, ladies and gentlemen. This is big-time news. Another player in Michigan's top 7-8 recruits in the state of Georgia, Kentucky, Georgia. You're seeing Nevada. Michigan's recruiting national with this class like they really have never, have other than, that class 2016 with all those New Jersey guys. This is a national class, and Trente Jones is certainly one of the stars of it, so it's going to be another big-time offensive line recruit going up with their offensive line, defensive line. That is the theme of this class. All right, this is the guy I want to talk about, Zach Charbonnet. I love the name. He kind of sounds French. Maybe Michigan recruited him when they were over there for the France trip, but number 303 player in the composite, but 24/7. Remember that composite, all recruiting together. They did their own site rankings. He skyrocketed to number 40 in America. I know Michigan fans like to say, hey, when a guy commits to us, he drops in rankings all the time, but not the case here with Zach Charbonnet. Look at these moves he's going to put on, folks, right here. We've got him circled. Absolutely explosive, and he is huge. He is 6'2", 210 pounds. Just finished his junior year in high school. Big-time player. I have told of all Michigan's players that has the highest ceiling by the end of his senior year, once he gets into this football season 2 months or so from now, maybe about 6 weeks for high school, he is the best chance of anybody to skyrocket into that top 20 players in the country, 5-star, and maybe be the number 1 or number 2 overall running back in the country. Michigan had him targeted as their number 1 back coming into this recruiting class, and they nailed him, and they got him on this class. I am super excited about this, guys. Him and Gray is a 1-2 combo like Michigan hasn't had in a long time. Let's keep it rolling. David Ojabo, it's a tougher last name to say, another guy lower rated by the composite ranking. 24/7 just updated their rankings to the most recent one based on summer camp. He skyrocketed there up into the top 150, 100 or so. I don't have his exact ranking in front of me at the moment, but he skyrocketed. So you're going to see his composite really increase here coming up. Just committed earlier this month, 2 weeks ago, 12 days ago, whatever it is, on July 2nd. You see the theme here, folks. Michigan's recruiting class 4 weeks ago was number 19, number 21, depending on the day in the country. They added 9 guys since then, all big-time players. And with that, David Ojabo is a player from New Jersey that is going to make a huge impact on Michigan's football recruiting class in 2019. Next up on our list, Karsen Barnhart, the offensive tackle. Number 383 player in the country out of the state of Michigan. This is the guy. Michigan's got a lot of good offensive linemen in this class. This is the one they prioritize even over a couple guys in the top 100 players ranked in the country. They've got him at number 383 in the composite and the number 38 offensive tackle in the country. Not even Michigan's highest offensive lineman, the 3rd highest offensive line rated offensive lineman in this class. But I like the potential of this guy. I think he's got a really high-end motor. He doesn't stop playing. He's a strong kid, and we'll see a lot from him in the future. Let's keep it rolling. We have got Erick All out of the state of Ohio, the tight end, a freak of nature athlete. I can't wait to see what he's done. He was a surprising commit for me. 2019 commit, Erick All, number 507 in the country. He is a tight end. Then we've got some footage of him. I cannot wait to see what he has. Reminds me a lot of Mustafa Muhammad and really all these big-time tight ends that have played for Jim Harbaugh over the years, guys who can really stretch the field, can catch the ball, can go over the middle, and get the ball in traffic to score a touchdown. Can't wait to see what we get out of Erick All. And Jim Harbaugh, as I said, this class, if you look at all the positions, he's filling needs and really getting back to the basics of what I think he does best. So Erick All is one to keep an eye out for. Next up on the list is Charles Thomas, the linebacker, number 397 in the country. I think he's underrated. I think he's really going to have the opportunity to increase his standing in the world of recruiting. Coming up, this is a guy who's a great follow on Twitter, by the way. You should definitely follow Charles Thomas. I really like following him. He retweets my stuff. We chat in there every once in a while. But he is one I think is going to go from that 3-star status up to a 4-star status and maybe into the top 200, if not 250 when all said and done. When they get more film on him, when he gets into his senior class, Charles Thomas is a player to watch for. I think he's going to be the gem, much like a Devin Bush or a Khaleke Hudson out of the 2016 class that are now all-American level players, NFL first-round draft pick potential players for Michigan. Charles Thomas is that kind of player for the University of Michigan. Let's run through the rest of the Michigan 2019 football recruiting class after Charles Thomas. Well, we got Jack Stewart. We've got Gabe Newburg at defensive end, number 685. And I don't want to slight these guys. Joey Velazquez is an athlete like you've never seen potentially. Also a big-time baseball recruit. Just committed to Michigan recently. George Johnson III, recent commit also out of the state of Florida. I like what I see out of George Johnson. I think he's going to be a diamond in the rough, potentially a player who doesn't get on the field for 3 or 4 years down the line, but when he does, he's going to be potentially a big-time player. So what I'm going to recap on this recruiting class that I want everyone to take home with on when they think about, hey, how's Michigan doing in recruiting? What's the latest? Is Michigan sat there all spring, a lot of last football season, didn't really put the pressure and any of these guys to commit and got their act together, got rid of some coaches, brought in some new blood, focused on states like Ohio, focused on the South, focused a little back on New Jersey, Georgia. And when they did that, ladies and gentlemen, they had put together a few recruiting weekends this summer, and it's absolutely paying dividends. The number 3 class in the country. If they can have a big season, add a few more top 100, 200 players, this is going to stay a top 5 class, which after last year's kind of down class and a down season at 8-5, 3 straight losses at the end of the year, will be a big get and a big win for Jim Harbaugh's class that will project them into the future as long as Michigan has Jim Harbaugh as his coach. If he keeps this class, they are going to be in good shape with player personnel. We showed that ranking number 4 most talent in the country in a 4-year ranking going into 2019. That is the Michigan Football Report. I am James Yoder, the king of Michigan football media. Someone asked me, who made you the king? Listen, man, I don't give myself the nicknames. People call me the king. I embrace it. That's what it is. Follow me on Twitter. Go ahead and follow Chat Sports. Subscribe on YouTube. Michigan Football by Chat, Michigan Wolverines by Chat Sports on Facebook. We will see you next week. We're going to have some awesome storylines and an interview with an incoming Michigan football player. We will see you then.